Live on Facebook. If you're joining us from Facebook, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm Graham Dodds. I'm the Executive Director of Magic, and this is 1 Million Cups. And today we don't have any presenters, but we have community updates. So you'll hear from an array of people in our community that just have updates for the rest of us. So if you are joining us on Facebook and you do have questions or comments for anybody, please feel free to drop them into the Facebook chat for this video, and we will have someone monitoring that here live who can then read your questions and comments out loud to the group. So I just run through real quick what 1 Million Cups is. The mission of 1 Million Cups is to lower the barrier for access to education, resources, and connections for entrepreneurs. This mission does not get accomplished without the pillars of the core program, which is, this is about presentations and not pitches. It's about connection, not networking. We are meant to be for the community, by the community. No one owns 1 Million Cups Westminster. No one's being paid to do 1 Million Cups Westminster. And we are radically and intentionally inclusive. We meet every week, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We have 2 presenters when possible. Sometimes we have no presenters, and it's all community updates like today. And then all of our presenting organizations should be less than 5 years old and willing to ask for help, because we try to remember to always end with, what can we as a community do to help you? This is our organizing team: myself, Graham Dodge, Chris Abel from the Carroll Technology Innovation Council, Vicki Slinkman from Ting, Jonathan Wheatman, attorney at law, Tina Thomas from the Infinite Love Project and Action for Kindness, Julia Snap from Dirigible Systems, and Gabby Rose also from Magic. I also just wanted to say thank you to Rick Leinbach and Startup Portal for hosting today. And thank you to Jeannie Bird Baking Company for providing the sweet treats that you don't get if you're attending on Facebook. You can only get if you are here in person. And likewise for the coffee from American Ice Cafe, Company Cafe, which was actually poured by my own son today. So if you have any complaints, let me know. All right, so it's Community Updates Day. Judith, I think I've got you already queued up and ready to go. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
All right. So Judith Beers, come on up. Shape hope through art. And I have a Facebook page. That's what you wanted up.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I can do to help? Let me play this, or it's already played? Oh, I see. Let me enlarge it. Is
Sure.
that good?
Thank you.
That's it? All right.
So I'm officially a therapist at Springboard.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So excited. Somebody donated all these really cute little packages with like the starfish poem, and I was able to give them to clients. And so it's so fun. And my supervisor emailed me. She's clearing off a shelf so I can put my art supplies in there. So it's very exciting. And then the day before I finished this, started my job the Sunday before. I finished this version. Let me see if I can pull. I don't need to pull it up.
Can I pull up something for you?
What
do you want?
You can just go to the Crap Happens Philosophy. Facebook's fine, or the website's fine. Let's see.
craphappens.org.
Yep, craphappens.org. It's linked to Share Hope Through Art as well. So the idea of being able to say hard things happen and we can deal with it. It's not too scary to talk about. Everybody poops, bad things happen. It's just life. We can normalize it. So this book is fun. It is continually growing. Over 500 people are quoted. It's over 500 pages. And this one has, what's the name of the person that came that did worksheets and stuff like that? It was, they did it online.
Down in California?
Facing.
Power Facing.
Power Facing. So he inspired me to add worksheets because I'm like, you know what? And I added a ton more questions because I'm like, I used to be a personal trainer, like a wellness coach thing. So I'm like, I'm adding my worksheets from 15 years ago. So I have worksheets in here on hope and healing and things on that nature. And the last page is saying, share your story, share your art. And I finished a community book, which is in the mail now. I got an email this morning too. So I'm our first community book finished, which has 7 different chapter topics that can each be launched into a series of books if they're doing well. So I'm going to actually go to Share Hope.
Do you ever sleep?
All the time. I sleep totally normal, and my kids are in school, and I haven't had like quiet time in years. So I'm like, it's just happening. But I have the submissions wanted. So the 7 chapters are like right here and I have to update this because each one's kind of like a different topic. And I even added a fantasy one of 2050. So like, how do you want the world to be in 2050 and how do we get there? But it's kind of like a fun fictional one. Is where do we want the world? How are we going to get there? So it's fun and I'm excited because I'm hoping to be able to do workshop things with my clients and maybe in groups. But it's fun because it's all the pieces of the puzzle are kind of coming together. So fun update.
Well, reintroduce yourself for people who haven't met you before, who might be on Facebook and don't understand the connection between the book and this and what you're talking about.
I do suicide prevention, and I normalize the stigma around mental health treatment. And if you go to treatment and it's not positive, find a new therapist. It's not all good. So I do share, some of the mental health field and behavioral health field isn't positive, but then there is like positive. But there's always hope. So I've spoken at Ignite about suicide prevention. I've been hospitalized being suicidal by choice. I've never attempted, which is something to be proud of. And no one, it's like a stigma thing to say you even thought about it. And I'm like, no, it's normal. If you haven't, one of your friends has, I'm sure of it. Like, it's very normal. When I talked at Ignite, I talked about the crappy pit of despair. And I'm like, oh, this is a normal pit a lot of us fall in and we can get out. So when you're in that moment where you're in total darkness and think, oh, the world is ending and it'll never get better, welcome. Hi, I'll come bring you light. Here's some things that work for me, but something different may work for you. And I did want to read a quote. Everything works better when you're around kind and empathetic people, and sometimes we just need a reminder to see a sign. Tina Thomas with Infinite Love. So she has a page in here because they had crappy destruction of property. A few of their signs were spray painted. So I was kind of like, that's crappy. But like, she's able to turn it into a positive when my guess is people donated to replace them, and but she didn't let it stop her from being kind. So everything's kind of coming together. I started at Springboard 2 weeks ago, but everything's going well.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Any
you can go to the
questions
website. Thank you.
Questions or comments? Anything on Facebook?
So are you doing, what kind of therapy work are you doing?
Individual.
Okay.
Eventually I want to move into groups, but it all depends on clients. And with Springboard, they're a nonprofit, which means we need people with diagnoses. They don't do out-of-pocket, to my knowledge.
Are you doing art-based therapy at all, or?
If the client wants to.
Okay.
So the first, if anyone goes to therapy, the first session or two is all getting information. So they're not really like digging into anything. It's all the psychosocial assessment. So it's kind of not as fun, but then as you keep going, depending on the client, if you want to talk and make art, that's going to be an option. I do memorial keepsakes too. Hey, where'd you go? Oh, you shrunk. There you go.
Yes.
But if somebody's dealing with grief, like I have like a whole bunch of different things we can make, from bookmarks to buttons to even writing stories, so you can have your own little memory thing to pass on. And then I have a whole bunch of different workshops on just empowerment that I already designed and haven't been able to do because I've been waiting. I've been a stay-at-home mom. So I have ample art supplies, but I have some prepped painted blocks. You can do rocks, you can do picture frames, and I love the terracotta pots. I have some, but I can always get more. The idea of so the whole crap happens is you can turn crap into fertilizer, grow something beautiful. It's also called post-traumatic growth. So it's kind of like something bad happens, you can make something good out of it. And this philosophy has been around for thousands of years. So Google post-traumatic growth, and like almost every religion has this as a mindset, taking suffering or something negative and making it positive.
Rise of the Phoenix.
Yeah, so it's been around, like, this is thousands of years, but it's like somehow not trendy. Like, you feel like you're new saying it, but you're like, no, this is just like repeating. There's nothing new under the sun. I mean, it's a quote. Ecclesiastes, I think. So yeah. So I just feel like I'm starting off like officially. Yeah, it's so exciting. So, thank you.
Congrats again on your new role. All right, so who else wants to come up and do an update?
I will.
I'll go first.
Chris, what do you want?
I just the website, that's fine then. I'm just going to tell a little story.
Alright.
So, for those who don't know me, I'm Chris Abel, the Executive Director of Carroll Technology and Innovation Council, and I've been doing a lot of reflecting recently. And I spoke at 1 Million Cups my first time for CTIC in my first month. I got up here and I said a lot of stuff, and it's funny, you go through a year of, meeting people, making plans, changing plans, and, I'm sitting here in December now looking into 2023, and that's kind of what I wanted. In January, we're going to have our official sort of announcement of what we're going to be doing for the year, but I kind of wanted to give it a little tease of some of the things that are coming down the pike for us. So one of the coolest things is through continuous support from Carroll Foundation, we're going to be able to expand our Veterans with Laptops program. We've given about 45 laptops this year to veterans, and we're hoping. We've also started a job club with the local Carroll County Workforce Development, and John Vaney as a Department of Labor representative. He represents Carroll County and Howard County. So we've actually, and there's discussions right now. We're actually in talks with a couple national partners to potentially have some really nice partnerships for our veterans workforce development in the fields of cyber, IT, and potentially non-technical tech jobs like sales and customer service. That's coming down the path. We're going to be doing our next job club in Howard County in February. So this is our first foray outside of Carroll County. We're planning to potentially have a job club in Cumberland. Come here probably mid next year. So there's a lot going on with that. That program though is going to need continued support. So we're at a point where our full fundraising for that is taken up just running the program. So we'd love to talk to partners about being involved. If you'd like to sponsor the job club, for example, give me a call. We can certainly look at what that looks like. The second big thing coming in 2023 is we received a digital inclusion grant from the state of Maryland, and that's with our partners, and we're partnering with some really cool local organizations. So we're partnering with the Literacy Council, Together We Own It, Find Your Purpose, the library, and we plan to have an offering for pretty much anyone, any type of person in the community around digital literacy. So with Find Your Purpose, we're working on a music-based digital literacy program that's going to be available online and in person. We're still in the very early stages of sort of finding or constructing it, but ideally what they're going to do is it's going to be a 4 or 6 week program where they get started, and the digital literacy learning happens around learning how to make a piece of music or a couple pieces of music. So, we'll give the student, we'll loan the students laptops with Pro Tools on it, and with all the necessary Microsoft stuff, and obviously access to the internet. And what they'll do is through this 4 or 6 week course, they're going to develop the different pieces of what they need to learn about how to make a piece of music, not only in the Pro Tools, but how to leverage, internet search to find information and maybe combat disinformation, how to use Excel or Microsoft Word to do some financials or to write some lyrics, and or Canva, for example, how to leverage Canva, which is a free software online to create some marketing. So we're really creating a digital literacy program with music at the heart. Right now, the first cohort, we're pretty sure is going to be between 5 and 7 people, so it's going to be relatively small to start. But hopefully, as we kind of grow this, we're going to have something that we can start using in other places, not just simply through Find Your Purpose, which is who's going to initially be the. So we're also looking for people who want to be involved in that program. If you're interested, please reach out to me. The Literacy Council, we're partnering with them on what I like to call entry-level data or digital literacy. And what that is really the basic stuff. So you get a computer for the first time and you know nothing about it. How do I log on? Like what is what are the files? Like how do I find them? How do I access the internet? How do what is antivirus? How do these things work? And hopefully, right now the Literacy Council is in the process of developing curriculum for that, and so that should be here ready probably early mid 2023, and that's going to be available to really anyone in the community who has interest in helping their digital literacy. And then the last part is we hope to do something with the library around ag tech. That's still very like in the works, but that's that's something when we originally wrote the grant that we would like to do is. So I have a couple meetings with people in agriculture in Carroll County and people at the library who have some interest in ag tech, and so there's more to come on that. And I think the last thing, we're still going to be doing educational events. We're going to be partnering with Startup Portal probably in June to do why data is important to small business, and we'd love to have other partners, other members. Reach out to us if you're interested in having a conversation with the community about different offerings. Then I'd love to hear from you. We are in our membership drive time, so if anyone is interested in joining and supporting any of these missions, again, I'd love to hear from you. Have an hour conversation with you about why it's a good idea to join and what we can do. But that's a sneak peek of what we're getting ready to do going into 2023. I do want to thank 1 Million Cups for having an opportunity to have a voice. I want to say that anyone, please share with your friends. Like this is an opportunity to really join a community group that is supportive and trying to grow the entrepreneurial spirit in Carroll County. So I think reach out to Graham, reach out to me, reach out to Tina, reach out to Gabby, reach out really anyone in this room, and they'll help you get to the right spot. So thanks for your time.
Questions for Chris?
Are you associated with the county? You have a relationship with the county? No?
We get small funding from the county. We are I should say a sponsorship from the county, but we do not. We're not a county.
You're not county employees or have any
no
small financial relationship you talked about.
No, we are a 1.5 person small 501c3 nonprofit. So I'm the only full-time employee there right now, and we have a very lovely and very great part-time employee.
That wouldn't be you.
Huh?
That wouldn't be you.
That wouldn't be me.
No.
So but that's, and so I think sometimes, so our history, not to go too long, but our history, we have had some involvement. So we initially came out with a chamber years ago. So that's why there's always some confusion about are we a county organization, are we not? Are we a trade organization? We're a 501c3 nonprofit. And so just a small one that is trying to grow right now.
Have you done any work with the Carroll VIP, the veterans organization?
So not directly. So I've reached out to them. I'm hoping to meet with them and hoping to meet with Jason Sidog as well,
Yeah.
to do some more work in the veterans population. Right now, simply because that's where we have traction, we're working with the Department of Labor. And, if I'd love to, so like with Jason or with Veteran or VIP, what I'd love to do is, join them and like find a place where we can attract their veterans and potentially help them. So so in my time working with these veteran populations, I've seen two real needs. So there's younger veterans under 30, let's say, that are looking for work. And there's a couple common things that they struggle with. One is jargon translation. So I talk about this to whoever I can. So you say communications in the military, and you're talking IT, you're talking high-tech knowledge. You say communications in the real world, you're talking marketing. And that's a big thing. So when, all they know is I apologize, I was not in the military, and so this speech will be wrong, but I'm a C3 communications officer means nothing to, when you put it on a resume. So how to translate that to what you're looking for is a big part, and that's something we're doing through our veterans program, is helping to translate, that jargon piece. Another opportunity is our older veterans, and who are in need of like support for telehealth because maybe they need supportive services to actually get to a medical center. Well, we can get them a computer because of health. So really, we're trying to get computers and technology in the hands of two types of veterans: veterans who are looking for work, or veterans who are in need of like regular telehealth appointments. And we'd love to continue that. And right now, we're seeing a decent mix, but I'd love to sort of separate the programs. And because the workforce programming we're doing isn't needed for some of the older veterans that need to telehealth, but if there's other ways, but some of the digital literacy work we do or are going to be doing may be able to support them. So I think, there's a way to sort of split this into two separate programs. I'd love to look into doing that if we can get enough veterans on each side.
It's the hard part, isn't it?
It's actually been easier than I thought.
Good.
And I only say that because we have some really great partners. The Department of Labor, a lot of our economic development people in various counties are helpful. NPower, organization out of Baltimore that does IT workforce development. They've been great. So what I think our opportunity is there, at least veterans, is to just continually. I want to get the edges now. So like I've sort of been able to find a nice collection of. So like our last job club had about 30 people there, for example, and that's a good number. And I think our next job club in Howard County is probably going to have a similar number. And so what I'd like to do though is find ways where this program is kind of start and stops because of funding. So we've, like I said, we've given out 45 laptops this year,
It's a lot.
but that's over. Like that year's funding is now done. And like, could we have done more? Potentially. And are we looking at ways to do more? Yes. And so that's where when I'm asking for support, it doesn't have to be financial. If you have an idea, if you have connections to other veterans programming that you think might be a good connection for us, I'd love to be able to sort of catch the edges as well as the people asking for service. Because the other challenge with veterans that I've found over the last year is, and I apologize to the state because I'm asking you for money at various times, but it's hard to access the services for veterans. So our program is easy to access. There's one piece of paper that you fill out your name, how you're going to be using the computer, where you served, and that's pretty much it. And then you qualify. You qualify at that point to get a computer. It's that simple. Like the number of times where I've handed a computer to a veteran and they're like, "Is this it? Like, I just take this box from you?" It's like, yeah, that's it. Well, actually, sorry, you have to take a picture with me also in front of that. But other than that, that's it. You take a picture with me, I hand you a box, you walk out, it's your computer. It's that simple. And so I'd like all of the program. I don't want there to be a barrier to access for any of the workforce programming we do. If you want to come, if you think it's helpful as a veteran, you can come, you can show up, you can be a part of it, and we're going to try and help you through that process.
All right, any questions or comments for Chris?
Oh, nice work.
All right,
Good
great
job.
job, Chris.
Chris, I want to talk with you
Yeah,
before I
wanna do
leave.
next? Sure. All right,
All right, we have Rick Leinbach from Startup Portal next.
all right.
You want a certain page up or?
No, we're good. We're good. All right, this is the last time I'm going to mention this event, because it happens tomorrow night. So if anyone's interested in understanding patents, trademarks, copyright, IP, this event was done in June by the same group. And this time, Henry Mortimer from the University of Baltimore is the panel, I guess, guiding the panel, number one. And two, a friend of ours is presenting as well, Celsi. If you remember Celsi.
Yes.
So they are going to talk about their experience with patent, IP, and trademarks and the whole process. So back in June when they did it, I was always thinking if they had something they can walk through the discussion. So tomorrow night, W Studios, I think it's W Ventures. We are, if anybody hasn't signed up yet, you want to go, feel free to sign up. Plan on leaving here, 4:30, 5:30, something like that. Maybe a little stop at a local bar down there before the event as well. So yeah, just let me know, W Ventures. So Larry Wilner, so to roll in to Startup Portal, Larry Wilner, who's putting this together, is helping me next year with probably like a 6-part series on finances, like business growing, how to finance your business essentially. So, and I'm bringing this up, it'll be probably a hybrid event here, but bring this up because if you have ideas or areas that you think, hey, I'd really like to know, we may be able to bake that into the presentation as well. So fun stuff for 2023. And lastly, I am kicking off, hopefully next week or so, a software project where we're aggregating all our equity crowdfunding data. Thanks to Seth and Lisa back there for all their help over the years. But basically working with OPG in town to basically put the data in there. And the idea is that we'll be able to help people with benchmarking their businesses and agnostic to the type of business. So it could be software, it could be a brewery, it could be a distillery, it could be a bed and breakfast. Chris is there, yes. So in that regard, so I'm hoping next year is really going to help take Startup Portal to kind of the level I'm working towards. So this year's been a bit of a shift for us, and looking forward to the new year. And thank you everyone for coming out. As Chris mentioned, our little ecosystem here in Carroll County is strong. So if you know someone that just wants to start their business and doesn't know what to do, come here on Wednesdays, right? I mean, that's where it starts because you meet Chris, you meet Tina, always asks the first question, so it's good stuff. So anyway, tomorrow night, let me know.
All right, thanks, Rick. All right, I know we have lots of other community updates to get to. Tina, do you want to come on up?
Yes. Please.
Action for Kindness or Infinite Love?
Actually, Instagram Be Kind Sign. I don't know if you've ever been there before.
Can we take a selfie so I can send it to the bottom?
Sure. We'll tell them, hey, we can't.
There it is. So if you want to click on the
Too late.
We'll roll it for them.
So to let everybody know, hi, I'm Tina. I'm with Action for Kindness. We're a 501c3 at the Community Foundation of Carroll County. We started out as an LLC called Infinite Love Project, where we were giving out little wooden hearts, and then that evolved because my guy's a custom woodworker into Be Kind signs, which you've seen around, and we're grateful that people are now purchasing them to put them on their own porches and their fences and their own poles. And helping to spread kindness, also gifting signs to teachers. We're so grateful. So that's kind of the core of how we're able to keep moving forward. But navigating everything now under the 501c3 Action for Kindness. We are part of the downtown Westminster Holiday Market, and that's what you see behind us. It's in the Stocksdale building in Westminster on Main Street, and that's happening this Saturday and next Saturday, 9 to 1. There's over a dozen local small businesses in that small building. So we encourage you, if you haven't done any of your holiday shopping, or even if you have, there's a train garden, music. It's a really nice, fun, festive atmosphere, and we're grateful to be part of it. And so that's each Saturday 9 to 1 downtown Westminster. Then I also wanted to let you know that we have coming up on December 15th a Paint Your Own Be Kind sign event. So just in time for the holidays, if you don't know what to get somebody, you can paint a Be Kind sign yourself at Pipe the Side Brewing in Hampstead. There's limited tickets available. This will sell out. It has before. This is their third event, I believe, that they've done with the Paint Your Own Be Kind signs. And we're so grateful because they're such a big part of connecting the community over in the Hampstead area of Carroll County. And so that is Thursday, December 15th, 6 p.m. You can go to BeKindSign.com and hit the events page there to get tickets, or go to Pipe the Side to get tickets as well. It's going to be a fun event. I can't wait, because now they've expanded. Pipe the Side has practically doubled in size. So we're excited. And then also, if I could go to to the Carroll Arts Center
Website or Instagram?
website, Carroll Arts Center website.
Do you ever sleep?
Yes, that's a must.
Everybody's so busy.
We're working with, and speaking of sleep, the biggest parts of can I sustain any energy to move forward, to move anything forward, is making sure I get enough sleep and making sure I do my stretches. As a yoga instructor, I'm grateful that I have a routine, and I encourage everybody to have their own stretch routine. My standard line is the best yoga mat in the world is your mattress. You start stretching before your feet even hit the floor. And that's gonna keep you going. So and I actually took over the Brethren Church is their yoga instructor for Monday nights is gonna have a baby. She's so adorable, but she can't get on the floor to teach anymore. So I'm subbing for her until about June. So and I'll give the community the information because it's Skype based. It's online, so anybody can $5 drop in and you can join us for Monday night yoga.
You say Skype based?
It's
Using Skype?
Using Skype, yeah, because it's free and I can call people.
Oh, okay.
I was amazed, over 40 million people are using Skype. And I remember Skype from way back in the day.
Yeah,
And
brings
yeah,
back memories.
it does. So let's see.
We're
We're going to, that we have partnered with the Carroll County Arts Center for a paint your own kindness workshop. Let's get to it. Community of Kindness art sessions. Let's get to it. So this starts in January. There are 4 sessions where we've put together a holistic workshop. And over the course of 4 sessions, we infuse kindness, mindfulness, breath work, and positive thinking, even role-playing dialogue as we're making art. And it culminates into, we do different kinds of art, like working with them and their name on paper and different ways to do that. And then it culminates into a Be Kind sign that they get to paint themselves and give to a family member if they choose. So that is also a limited sized class. It's for the kids, and I just want to get the ages right. I believe, going up there. Ages 7 to 13. So if you're a member, you get a discount. So it is Wednesdays, up and down. Wednesday, it starts Wednesday, January 25th. They're at 5 p.m. for an hour and a half. And Eric and I teach this. So if you know anyone who has a middle schooler, or 7 to 13-year-old that maybe feels a little awkward socially, or you think could really use some positive integration into their thought process. You never know where a kid is. This would be perfect for them because usually it's a small enough size group that everybody gets to know each other, and these are people from all over the county. So it's not necessarily the person that they buddy up with at school. They're going to get a new experience with a new person and learn how to communicate in a new way that's always positive, or work through if it's not positive, why not, and help people navigate, the kids navigate that way. And we have a New Be Kind song. So we integrate the New Be Kind song into our workshop as well.
Is it the same artist who did the last?
Yes, the R.J. Reynolds Band. We were at a nonprofit event called Sober Living 2, where a wonderful gentleman, Ed Denatel from Atlas Realty, he was celebrating his sobriety, and so he threw himself a party, but threw a party for everybody else too. And it's really nice to have people get together who are just kind of like feeling their way through this, sobriety thing, and having people who are there to help them figure it out. So it's a really wonderful event. We were talking to a gentleman, and he's like really into the signs and why they're up and the message and why can't we just all be kind, and even if we disagree, let's just be kind to each other anyway. And then to find out that he's a studio musician. They've done over 50 songs. One of his songs was actually purchased by Spike Lee for their movie, the rights to it. And they went into session and made a Be Kind song and donated it to our nonprofit, so that we get to use that as our official song. So it's professionally produced, and we're all excited. So we're figuring out.
Again now, so now you have two.
No, that's the same one.
Oh, it's the same one.
Just
Oh, I
the
thought
one.
you said you had another song. I'm sorry.
No, just the same one. So we're grateful. It's right now. It's on SoundCloud, and we're figuring out how to jump it up so that people can request it on Spotify and iTunes and all that fun stuff. I don't know that there'll be any monetary compensation, but it's ours to use for however we can fundraise. So we're grateful about that. In regards to the updates, we are looking to do more workshops, mindful paint workshops. They can be the workshops where we actually make it a holistic workshop, or it can just be like a paint and sip. It's going to be in Hampstead at Pipe Aside. So if anybody who's looking for workshops and indoor activity in the cold months, please have them reach out to us. And then also when it comes to being a nonprofit and understanding how to navigate the fact that we're a nonprofit, but we're also retailing, I'm open to all the advice I can get. And I appreciate this community, so that's why I know I can throw it out there and be vulnerable and say, I don't know that I know what I'm doing. So any help that I can get would be wonderful. So thank you. 1 million cups. Yes, Kim.
Couple things here.
Yes.
Did I hear that you're doing a Find the Be Kind sign app?
Yes,
Like
that
a Pokemon
the
type thing, but
trilogy-
real?
Yes, the trilogy of our nonprofit active initiatives are donating signs to teachers, putting together the paint workshops for kids, and anybody who needs it. People in recovery need the workshops as well. And then putting the app together. We're working with Magic, hopefully, and some
I am so excited about that.
getting some help. Yeah, there's two main parts to the app. The app is people are already gamifying Find the Signs, like they make a game of it.
Yeah.
And so taking that, putting it into a phone aspect where you can gamify it. I don't play games, so I don't know how that's going to make it, help people making it fun, but it's going to. The bigger utility of the app is going to be connecting positive people doing positive things. Like, I know what it's like to be a soccer mom, running around and not realizing that right down the street is somebody doing some really good work for our community, and they could use our help, once a month, once a week. So connecting people in that way is going to be the biggest part of the utility.
Somewhere
of
in
the
that app, when somebody doesn't just look for the sign, but when they find it, they take a picture and it's whatever, then there should be some kind of kindness message or something that
Absolutely.
pops up after that. Or something
Yes,
like
they're
that.
going to.
But
Yes.
on another note, I think you're amazing.
Oh,
Since the day I met you. And I think it's more amazing that you commented about, does she sleep? And she didn't take it to her she brought it to us and told us all about how important it is to have good breathing, and that's Tina. And I happened to come today, and I happened to bring this little keychain that I saw
Oh my
that
gosh.
says "Be kind of."
Oh, this is adorable.
And
You
I
want
knew
to
I'd
say
see you. I've had it in my pocketbook, and I knew I would see you again at some point.
Oh, that's so kind.
And I'm so glad that it was today,
This is
especially
fun.
watching you in action again.
Presents. You're so kind. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Spread the joy.
So thank you, everybody.
All right.
All right, we got time for probably just a couple more updates, relatively quick updates. Anybody else want to come up? Chris Tillman, you got an update? Want to bring up George's on York or?
The Tony Chamber of Commerce page.
It's okay.
You gave up
I
that
told you
day.
if there's time.
I am no longer the president, but I still serve on the board. So I didn't give up the gig. There we go. And I just want to talk for just a couple minutes. I'm Chris Tillman. I own George's on York Bed and Breakfast. And I'm also on the Tonytown Chamber of Commerce board. I was the past president and the president for 3 years. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Tonytown, because there are exciting things going on in Tonytown. We just did a huge small business Saturday event where we did grand openings and ribbon cuttings at 6 different locations for businesses that either relocated or have opened in the last. We stretched it a little bit to almost a year, but most of them, a lot of them have just recently opened in the last month and a half. So I want to encourage people, to think, Tonytown, what's in Tonytown? Well, come see what's in Tonytown, because there are great businesses in Tonytown. There's got great things to do. And there's a lot of energy right now in Tonytown. I made some notes here, so pardon me while I look. But one of the things that I love Startup Portal and, the Chamber of Commerce, both in the county and our Chamber of Commerce. But if you know someone who wants to start a business, Tonytown is a great place to come start a business. It's a growing place. Lots of new people have moved in. The Beach Crossing development is pretty well filled out. Hundreds of new homes have been built there. There are other developments still in the pipeline. There are going to be hundreds of more new homes in Tonytown. So it's a great and growing market. Rents are still relatively inexpensive. But if you're going to come and start a business up there, don't just think that you can do it on a shoestring and, it's only a few $100s a month to rent this place. Anybody can. Make sure that you talk to somebody like Rick, or that you come to either the county chamber or to us in the Tonytown chamber and find out a little bit about what you need to do. I was at a Destination Gettysburg thing last night and talking to a business owner who had started their business and didn't do all the research. And so now they're caught up in all kinds of zoning mess and stuff like that, and they can't really operate the business the way we want them. If you'd come to somebody beforehand, and you might have learned what you needed to know and avoided all those pitfalls. So just kind of a plug there for both the Chamber of Commerce and Startup Portal. A couple other things that are happening up there. One is the Arts Council, and everyone here, we've talked a lot about the Arts Council here this morning. The Arts Council wants to bring their message of the arts to the wider Carroll County area, and not just to a few rich white people in Westminster, which is kind of what it is today. And there should, if you talk to Lynn Griffith, she's really trying to expand that. And we're actually going to be starting to bring live performances through the Arts Council to small venues in Tonytown. So keep your eye out for that if you are, especially if you're tied in with the Arts Council, or go to their website or on their Facebook page. Or on any of the Tonytown neighborhood or community pages, because that's where you're going to find this information. And look for that thing, because there's going to be some really neat stuff going on in small venues in Tonytown. So we're bringing the arts to Tonytown. One of the other things, we talked about the digital divide, and I know QIS, are you involved in that whole bringing the fiber to unserved areas?
In a different way, yes.
Yeah. Because that actually has become a topic of conversation in Tonytown, because there are so many people who, once you get outside the city limits, don't have access to high-speed internet access. Internet access. So that's going to be a big thing coming forward. And the last thing that I want to say, I don't know if any of you use TripAdvisor or no TripAdvisor. Of course, we're in a community with Antrim 1844, and some of you are going there later on today for the Christmas party. And here we are, this nice little startup 5-room bed and breakfast. and of course TripAdvisor ranks the places to stay in your community. And we've always been, number 2 because Antrim is number 1. Well, not anymore. If you go to TripAdvisor and you look, George's on York Bed and Breakfast, we're number 1. They base that on reviews and their algorithm that, in terms of click-throughs and how many people click on their, And so we have, we are now number 1 on TripAdvisor in Tonytown. So just putting that plug in there for George's on York.
There you go.
And there's George's on York. That's our breakfast, really enlarged. And we do have we have 1 room left in our New Year's Eve package, which is dinner and a murder mystery in a room. And we have 1 room left. So if anybody's interested, go right to our website and book it. So thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Where's your business located?
We are in downtown Tonytown at 10 York Street.
Okay. I go through there regularly. I'll have to take a peek.
The new businesses in Tonytown, what type of businesses are they?
So we have a shop called The Simple Life, which is a holistic healing kind of place. They have bath salts and herbs, crystals, and they sell a lot of really neat little gift and like bath bombs and stuff like that. Just a, kind of a neat little holistic shop. We have Deja Vu Jewels, which is a estate jewelry store. Amy, who owns that shop, does estate appraisals, and in that process, she's acquired some estate jewelry and some beautiful, beautiful pieces, and a great looking little shop. Finch Market has just opened up on Baltimore Street, just down from City Hall, selling gourmet foods. She right now is just dry goods. She's waiting for health department approval to be able to sell local meats and local cheeses and milk. And so as soon as that's approved, she'll be selling that. And then there is a hearing coming up in front of the liquor board, and she'll be able to sell higher end wines there also. So that's coming. That same person is also working on reopening opening a restaurant there at 1 York Street. In what everyone calls the old Chinese restaurant. And so that's coming. The Cherry Tree, if anybody's familiar with Tonytown, remembers the old Cherry Tree shop from the early 2000s, that has reopened as Ambassador's Emporium. And they're open, they're just kind of soft opening here through the holiday season. They're open Saturdays through Christmas. And that's really, really neat. And that's kind of a trip back in time to walk through there, because if you remember that store, it's really kind of cool. We have the $9 Carriage House, which does Makers Marts every second Saturday. And then they also do special events. They do like terrarium therapy events. They do all kinds of artistic, art events there also. So there's, just a lot going on in Tonytown. There are a few storefront retail spaces left. And we're looking for more, always looking for more.
And are you still having the breakfast every first Friday of the month?
Yes, thank you for the reminder. This Friday, that's the second Friday of every month.
Okay.
At 7:30 in the morning at Thunderhead Bowling Lanes is the Tonytown Business Breakfast, working its way back to being the premier monthly meet and greet event in Carroll County. Anyone else? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we probably have time just for one more quick update. Does anybody else want to get up?
I've never been up, but I'll
Jim,
share
you want me
me.
to pull the website or anything?
The Faces of Westminster MD. There I am. There's some other people there too. So my name's Kim Pellegrino, and I started a community project about June-ish called the Faces of Westminster MD, because there's other Westminsters in this beautiful country of ours. And what I do basically is through a nomination process, very simple nomination process, mind you, people will share somebody that basically wowed them, somebody that they really feel really strong about some of the things that they've done. And we have some of those people in this room, as a matter of fact. And then I reach out to them and just send them some questions, and they answer the questions, and I hope that we get a chance to get together as well. But we get them up on the website, and we have over 14,000 views right now. And we started officially May, but the website really was up and running probably mid-end June. So people are getting a lot of looks. Businesses are getting looks. It doesn't have to be a business. It could be, a kid somewhere that wowed you. But we're getting a lot of people at the site, a lot of people looking at the different people in the site. I share them on social media, usually every Tuesday and Thursday or Friday, and I boost them as well. And the hopes is that to bring the community of Westminster closer together and to highlight all the great people that live in Westminster. I mean, you saw a lot of people speaking today, and a lot of people in Westminster, and a lot of people are hidden. I'm learning more and more about Westminster than I ever did before just doing this project. And so many great people are hidden. So many great things are hidden, but this is hopes to bring that out and to share it. And we've gotten tons of nominations. Like I said, over 14,000 views already. And the next step, my promise to everybody on the Faces of Westminster was as soon as we had 50 people, and now we have over 50 people, that I would start planning our first gathering. And I'm in the process of doing that now. And it's going to be the first week of February. And it's going to be the theme for February, we love Westminster. And what it's going to be is I'm going to invite everybody who's on the Faces of Westminster, anybody who has nominated anybody on the Faces of Westminster, and anybody who's still working on their questions, because we have a ton of those people as well. So the hopes is to kind of find a location that's going to, give us enough space to do that. Maybe find some sponsors to assist with that. And also, I'd like to see if we can grab some gift cards from the neighboring restaurants and such and give those out. And to make it all Westminster, like just bring people to Westminster through the Faces of Westminster, Maryland. So it's been pretty awesome so far. Has anybody seen it throughout social media besides our people that are on it?
My mother-in-law ran into you at an event.
Yeah. So I did. If you're shaking your head, no, I'm giving you a card.
Thanks.
So I did an event. At. I'll pass those out there. I did an event at. I can never say it right. Antiques. At the corner of 32 and 97. And I met her. She's fantastic. She does a lot of great things with a lot of old stuff there. Has an old barn there. And I saw that she was having vendors, for Fall Fest. And I said, well, I don't have anything to sell, but I'd love to do it. And so what I did was I set up a table with pictures of everybody's faces on the table. And people would come up and looking for something you're selling. No, I'm not selling anything. I'm sharing people. I'm sharing people of Westminster. And it turns out that Graham's mother-in-law was there. She's like, wait! I know him.
Is that all she said?
Nothing but good things. Right? You'll pay me later, right, Graham?
Right.
But it's really great. I hope that you jump on the website and nominate people, share the link. I do think that, sometimes life gets in the way and ugliness gets in the way, and I think that this is a good way to sort of bring that niceness and kindness out in the world and share great people. Yeah, when I make a phone call and I say to someone, congratulations, you've been nominated to be the next face on the Faces of Westminster, Maryland, they're happy. I mean, I had one woman who reached out to me and she's like, Kim, you made a huge difference. She realized, she shared the post. She's a baker and she shared the post. And it was a career change for her. It was something that she really had to dive into and really, make it work. And she obviously had always had doubts, but she shared that post and so many people gave her great feedback after that. And she's like, Kim, thanks for at least today you reminding me that I was supposed to do this. And you know what? We've been locked up in COVID. Let's see some faces. Let's see some great faces of Westminster. So nominate. Go on the site and hit the button, nominate. And sometimes I read that to the people that are nominated, and that really makes them feel great as well.
Facesofwestminstermd.com.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, they had the facesofwestminster.com, and I really fought to get that off because they had to put in their California letters because we had some interruptions with that. So MD has to be on there, yeah.
Okay.
But it's good stuff. Thanks, guys. I spoke to your wife about putting you guys on there. She hasn't gotten back to me.
I will remind her.
Yeah.
Put her face on there. It's much prettier than mine.
One quick update from Magic, and while I'm pulling this up, I know Jenna Shriver's in the room, and she is looking for, are you still looking for a commercial space?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so Jenna Shriver, without going into any of the drama, she's looking for a commercial rental space still.
How
And-
big? How
well,
big?
we,
We can talk later.
I just want to
Okay.
bring her, everyone in the room who has leads on commercial space, please go see Jenna as soon as we adjourn here. Real quick, Magic has found a sponsor for our Westminster Angel Network meetings. We did 2 of these last year, bringing up 4 different Carroll County-based startup companies, tech startup companies, to various high net worth individuals, accredited investors in Carroll County and the area. And we have finally found a sponsor, which is none other than TEDCO, which is Maryland's investment fund for technology entrepreneurs. So we will be able to host more meetings in the coming year thanks to TEDCO. So, and if you know any high net worth individuals or people who would qualify as an accredited investor, which I think is a net worth of $1 million, right? Net worth of $1 million or more, or an annual salary of like $250 or something, $300 a year. I think that it depends if you're married or not in terms of how that gets added up. But then you can apply to be an angel in our network and come out to the meetings, basically be fed thanks to TEDCO and watch some great pitches from our top technology companies in the region. So that's Magic's quick update. And Tina, do you want to take us out?
So thank you everybody for coming in person and online. We're 1 Million Cups, so we're the entrepreneurial community, support community for Westminster, Carroll County, and actually I think at this point we're the only 1 Million Cups affiliate in Maryland, and we're grateful to be here for you. Thank you to Startup Portal for the space, Graham and Magic for actually making this all happen, Jeannie Bird for the sweet treats, and who is it? American Ice Cafe for the Go-Go Juice. Yay! And thank you all for being here. We can't support each other without each and every one of you, and we're so grateful. So I guess we'll see you next week.